Greetings, Melvi family. What a moment, what a blessing it is that God has brought us to this episode. Another blockbuster, if I can use that way, or should I say divine buster. And I'm sitting here talking about my journey with God. And you know the reason why we share these testimonies with you is because the Bible says in Revelation 12, verse 11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. So today we are here to share someone special, someone whose journey, even at a young age, is full of controversy and the fights for a soul that needs to be saved. And this young man has been around. If we say he bought the t-shirt, he wore it, now it's torn. He can tell you all about it. I'm talking to Anesu Chogugudza. My brother, greetings and welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Your introductions are quite interesting.
Yes, man, I watched your story. You set up a YouTube channel recently.
The YouTube channel has always been there. In fact, it's just that I pulled down my content.
Oh, okay.
So I then used it to be the distribution platform, if you will, for that story. But it's always been there.
All right. Wonderful. Yeah. So thanks for sharing with me that testimony. Powerful. And I think I would really encourage our viewers to go check it out, because from there you went straight into the issue. And your life and the challenges and the transitions. But on this episode, I want us to unroll a few pages back.
Sure.
And go way back. Back in time when you opened your eyes and you discovered, oh, my name is Anesu Chogugudza. Where were you? What were you doing? Who was around you? And what do you remember about those days?
Yeah. So maybe let me take you through what I remember, not what they told me.
Exactly. That's the point.
Because I'm not sure if I believe those stories.
Okay.
But perhaps just to recap, I was born in Harare, the capital city of Zim.
All right.
And my father served in the army at some point, but where I remember life beginning is in a small little town called Rusape. I believe that's in the east of Zimbabwe.
Yes, going towards Mutare.
Mutare, exactly. Yes. So we stayed not far from the Mutare road back in Zim, in Rusape. That's the little town that I grew up in. I attended a school called Vengere, primary school. And, those were good memories, man. It was, life was good.
Who was around you, and what are some of the early influences that you remember from that young age?
My mother played a huge role in mine and my brother's upbringing. So you remember that I mentioned that my dad was in the army. He was not bearing arms. And I think that's a story that he has to tell, one day. But he finds himself in the army. He's in the engineering department. I think he was building. And what brings us to Rusape is the proximity to where he was serving at the time. So we spent a lot of time with mom at home. She educated us. She trained us in the way of the Lord. And I think my very early memories and influences were from her directly. I joke and say that, I was homeschooled after school.
Okay.
But after school. So what my mother would do was, take us through what we had learned at school, revised the content with us, Bible stories on top of that, memory verses, and that was my life. And as a result of her work as a mom, in Zim, we've got this, I don't think it's encouraged anywhere in the world, but we've got this grading system where there's number 1, number 2, number 3.
Up to number last.
Up to the last one.
The one who closes the door.
The one who closes the door. You remember well. And I don't want to lie to you, I would be number 1 from grade 1 until grade 5, because I did my grade 6 here. That's the amount of work that my mother put in educating me and my brothers. Number 1 the whole way. So you can imagine the influence that she had upon my childhood.
So that's influence on your education.
Absolutely.
But in terms of values and beliefs, what was the earliest impact you remember on your life? Because if you ask me, I'll tell you, I remember that day.
Yeah.
I was in a Sabbath school class.
Yeah.
In fact, I had been moved that was the first Sabbath school class. And I messed up Genesis 1 verse 1.
The first verse.
Butchered it. I don't remember what I said exactly. So that's my moment when I discovered this thing called the Bible.
Nice,
and I need to know it, because if I don't, I'm in trouble. Where were you? What was the early influence on your values and beliefs?
Spiritual values, moral values were children's story. So because of the Uncle Arthur Maxwell set.
Okay.
Right, I remember that one. And there was also the picture roll.
I
don't think that one is around any longer.
It still is. I have it in one of my rooms, yeah.
You have to link me up. I need it for someone that God gave me to take care of. But
wow.
I remember those memories vividly in my mind, and, you know, we would be taken through the Bible. And I think it was such a part of our life to an extent where when it's children's story at home, at church, and the person telling the story makes a mistake, I would stand up and I would go to them and I say, no, it's not David, it's Jonathan.
Wow.
And when they tell a story without the picture, or I'd run to my mother, I'd get a book or the picture, and I'm like, please use this.
Wow.
You know, that's the impact that and this is how values were instilled in me. It was scripture based. I was born in a God-fearing Christian family, and again, it goes back to the work of the mother in educating and instilling those values.
Besides mom, who else features strongly in your early years as a child, who would have directed or helped shape your values? Dad was not there most of the time.
I don't want to tell the story as if I've got an absent father. He absolutely,
it sounded like it was not
absolutely there. Was there. But remember, because of the nature of his work, he would be on site a lot of the times. And when he left the army, he became a lecturer and he was teaching at Mutare Polytechnic. He was teaching building.
All right.
So a lot of the times we would see Dad over the weekend. But Dad came in instilling values. I mean, he taught us how to become men. He taught us to always have our documents in order, you know, now that we live in a foreign country. Okay. And even then, Dad has always been someone who's upright, someone who's honest, someone who takes the longer route. So I think those influences, maybe not in my early childhood because I may not have understood, but he definitely did start instilling those. And I think he's big on education. I remember him being busy with his MBA. And while he studies outside in the sun, I would be wanting to kick the ball at him, and, you know, you'd catch it, throw it far, I run, he reads a bit. So he was definitely there, and I think what he instilled, perhaps I value it a little later when I realized the importance. But he taught me an honest life. The longer route, as long as it's the honest one, is the best way to take, and shortcuts never pay. That's one thing I can tell you about the man that my dad is. Yeah.
So let's talk about your career. You say you are number one through and through until grade 6.
Yeah.
So walk us through your career path. How has the Lord led you until to where you are today?
Absolutely. It's a dynamic one. I wish I was a master of one thing, but I think I relate with the jack of all trades and master of none title. But I honestly would be ungrateful if I were to say that. I think the Lord has endowed me and also guided my career path. So schooling wise, I do grade 5 in Zim. We then move from Zim as a family. I think around 2008, things got really bad. I remember my mother waking up one morning, rushing to the bank to withdraw whatever was left in the bank. And by the time the line got to her, the money had lost value. It was some crazy story like that. And she literally came home with nothing.
Wow.
So the inflation was, intense. And we literally got to a space where if you owed on your house, debts were written off and things were just chaotic. I mean, people had pensions that they had worked for the whole life. And when it came to cashing out, there was nothing to cash out. So we get to a point where my father goes to South Africa and he leads the way for us, if you will. And we then join him in the year 2009. So 2009 schooling career, I attend Good Hope High School in Cape Town. I mean, he got a job Firstly, as a cleaner at the school, maintenance guy, until he started helping people with homework. And parents came to one meeting and they said, we heard our kids saying that, there's a man who's teaching them geography during break time. What's going on? We and long story short, he gets the job as a teacher.
Wow.
And even then, just speaking to the values that we spoke of a little earlier, I've been taught by him that there's no work too menial, there's no work too small. Do it as you would, if you were president or CEO, clean that way. So he finds himself, he's someone who's got degrees, certificates, and he's cleaning, maintenance guy, and blocking toilets, and he gets the job. And that's when we're able to now join him. And even there's a lot of wisdom in that, because as a father now, I just realized, there are decisions that you can make when you're alone, but there are decisions that you have to really think about and pave the way, suffer the hardship, and kind of cushion it out for your family, so that when they join you you'd be in a better space. So that's what he does for us. I start grade 6 at Grow Primary, and it's a change of environment, change of language, change of culture, and everything is just a shock. And I remember getting to school and the principal said, man, this boy is gonna struggle with English. We have to take him one grade back. Now, taking you back to Zim, you'd remember that someone who repeats a grade in Zim,
they're dumb.
They're dumb.
Dumb cop.
and in my little mind, I'm thinking there's
stigma.
No, it carries a stigma. And I think it impacts you for the rest of your life. I remember this one kid, Neophyte was his name in Zim. He closed the class 1 year, and my whole primary schooling career, this guy would literally just close. I don't think he was dumb. But I just think it's the stigma that we expected him to be last.
Yeah.
So when I was told that I have to repeat grade 5 instead of go to grade 6 so I can adapt with the language, I told my parents, I'm packing my bags today, I'm going back to Zim. I'd rather finish school there. I'm not repeating. Wow. So what they do at school, Mr. Hendricks was his name, is his name. In fact, I think he's still alive.
Yeah.
They then arrange that I sit in the class, but I get tested on both grade 5 and grade 6 work and see where I perform better. We praise the Lord, I didn't have to repeat. My younger brothers ended up going a grade back, but I went right through. Grade 6, grade 7, come high school, I was settling, and I was picking up. Fortunate enough, I was a kid, and it didn't take me too long, to pick up on the language. I played football at school, so you connect very quickly with the boys. Yes, I did have challenges adapting in my early schooling career, but before you know it, I was a part of the culture. So that's my early schooling career. Then high school. Yeah. High school was a bit unique in that you start having issues as a foreigner. You start having issues as someone who comes from a religious home when it comes to issues of fitting in. And in high school, I find myself as an outcast almost, because I'm not like the other kids. And I think there was a great identity crisis within me now that I reflect, in wanting to impress, in wanting to be seen, in wanting to be someone. That I remember walking with my mother in town. We walk past the store, I see the window display, and I don't look at anything else, but there was a person in the display, and I'm like, I want to be that person.
Like
I want to be
person.
in there. Oh, no, it's a campaign. It's the pictures that they put up, in the stores.
Pictures of these models.
Exactly. So when I see that, I'm like, no, this is the way. This is the way I need to be in that window. And I would also want to dress like the other kids were dressing, because I'm in Zim, South Africa. Clothing, it's different. So I also wanted the name branded shoes. I also wanted the nice expensive clothes, but my parents couldn't afford all of that. We were starting our lives afresh. So I had a bit of challenges in high school in wanting to fit in and in really wanting to be like the other kids. And I think that would be what informs the career that I ended up then going into.
All right.
So in high school, we get to a point where it's time to choose what to study.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I really love fashion. I really love entertainment. Because I grew up in a household that didn't have a TV, that only played radio. I mean, King's Heralds and all these other groups. The Heritage Singers, that was home. We didn't have a TV. But when I laid my eyes upon TV, I see there are people talking eloquently on TV. I'm like, where do these people learn how to speak like this? I want to be in that TV as well. So my career is influenced, or rather my career choice is influenced by the media that I saw in the window displays, that I heard on radio, that I saw on TV. And now I find myself in school, grade 10, grade 11, needing to make a choice. So initially I applied to study fashion.
Okay.
And I mean, you can imagine in an African home, a boy child who wants to study fashion. I don't think my dad understood.
You must have had a very long conversation with your father.
It was quite long.
Saying
exactly. And what I love about my dad is that he's an understanding person.
Okay.
And he heard me. And he says, you know what, the choice is yours. We've brought you up in a certain way. If this is what you want to do, then by all means, we will support you. I applied to some fashion schools. By God's grace, I got rejected.
Oh, wow.
I got rejected. I applied. I won't mention the institutions, but yeah, they all rejected me outright.
And did they say the reason why they are rejecting?
My matric year was a bit funny.
Okay.
And this is not an appeal, this is not a fight, but the subject choices that I had were such that I needed to pass everything.
All right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't pass with the marks that would allow me to get into a degree program. So I had challenges with Afrikaans, at least the assessment of it, and I couldn't be exempted because we came while I was in primary school.
And you were many years already into your primary, so you missed the foundation now.
Exactly, and a lot of foreign kids would relate with this point that you just have to stick it up with the language and write and hope to pass. So I don't do too well in my matric year. The other marks are fine, but then there's this Afrikaans mark. And then there's the physical sciences. And then there's the maths, which naturally tends to be on the lower side. So if you miss 50% by 1%, you find yourself having to do a higher certificate or diploma course. So I find myself now applying for, that's how the fashion didn't happen, because the fashion courses were degrees and I could only do diploma or higher certificate.
I see.
Right. I find myself doing human resource management, and that bridges me into a marketing degree, and that's what I eventually ended up, getting training for. And marketing would have come as influence from my dad to say, if you want to be in these media things, why don't you study marketing at Alliance? I told him, you know what, for you, I'll do it. But otherwise, I didn't want to.
You didn't want to do it.
To study, yeah.
So how much of your faith was involved in these decisions? Especially the media, the fashion. If you look back now,
unlike you, we spoke of such, and you said your media involvement is a calling. There was no faith in my choice at the time.
There was no voice that says,
I wanted to
behold.
be on TV. There was no behold. There was no calling there. I just purely wanted to do it for the fame at the time. And that would have stemmed off the rejection that I faced in my primary and high schooling years, and wanting to really be a part of, the groups in a different country.
They will see me.
They'll see me.
They will watch me.
In fact, I did it to try and prove a point. Instead of really, getting it for that. So I start in my career now. So I'm studying marketing for my dad, so that, because they told me that, you can do this thing of yours, but you'll need something to fall back on. And they literally had to appeal to me to study. And I said, don't worry, I'll do it for you. So when I started studying my marketing, the fashion industry things were picking up as well.
Okay.
And I remember one time getting paid, from my work in the fashion industry.
Okay.
And I came to my parents and I said, here's the money. I don't need this degree. If I can make this money, With no degree, why do I need a degree? So that was the tension that I had in my early career years.
Okay.
It was really this dichotomy of, do I study or can I just show them that I can be a success and make the money? That's what's important. At least that was what was important then to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, as you go through those choices, definitely you faced significant challenges.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the acceptance is one, acceptance or rejection is one, but it's not easy to break into that industry as well because there are many sacrifices you have to make. So if there were any challenges that you faced, I would like to know what they were and how did your faith impact your choices at that stage?
No, that's a profound question, and I think the thought that comes to my mind, as you say, it's not easy to break into. We oftentimes say pastors and people involved in God's work are called. Did you know that Satan also calls the people that he wants to use?
All right.
And
I never thought about it that way.
A lot of times people have got magnificent voices.
I always thought people are deceived into that area.
No. Satan is very selective in who he chooses. Because the agent, Ellen G. White writes and actually says that Satan blesses some and he uses those that he's blessed to then influence the rest.
Oh, that word is a very big one. For this time and day, influence is a big word.
Absolutely. So you find that I want to break into this industry, and I won't tell you that I had a hard time breaking in, because I started doing research. How does one make it into this industry? And I mean, I read and I still read a lot, and I found that one needs to join an agency if you want to be a model, and through the agency you will then get castings. That's where you go line up and you are selected. I mean, if a brand is having a campaign, the next summer campaign, if you will, you stand there in a line, they choose you, and very quickly, I mean, I'm not a short person, but in the industry of fashion, I'm very short. I'm a midget. So I quickly found that whenever I would go to a casting, they wouldn't even call me back.
Oh, no.
They wouldn't even tell me that you didn't make it. It would be blanket. I saw that, man. Insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I saw that it wasn't going to work. So I started a blog. God has gifted me with the gift of writing. God has gifted me with the gift of storytelling. And one thing that I was particularly interested about at the time was South African fashion, because I just didn't understand why we promote things from outside of the country that we stay in. And, that was my passion. So I wrote about it. I would go to designers, ask them for clothing samples, ask them for interviews. And that's how I broke into the industry. So through that blog and the write-ups that I would do, I started getting a bit of traction. My matric ball year came, and one certain brand hosted this charity giveaway where they would dress the winner for their matric ball, and my parents obviously didn't have money to buy the most expensive suit, and I find myself at the crossroads where I've won this competition. I've got a little blog that is gaining traction, and using that blog and winning this competition, I then broke into the entertainment and fashion industry at the time. So it wasn't hard. I don't want to lie and say no, I had a hard time. I think Satan was deceiving me into this path, if you will, and I want to argue and say that if you want to make it in the entertainment industry, stop coming to church and stop reading your Bible, because you will slow yourself down. It's an external opposite force to what you want to do. If you want to go there, reading your Bible is going to block you, because God does answer prayer and his presence does come when you read his word. So for those of you that want to make it in the entertainment industry, just leave God alone.
Yeah, do your thing.
Do your thing. And this is what I realized in my journey as it went on. And I don't advise anyone to leave God, by the way, because God will never leave you.
You see, I listened to your testimony on your channel. Please go and watch that testimony, because right there you shared how there was this battle every time things happened, and you found yourself praying. You talk about that yellow cab. I listened to you talk about that yellow cab, and God, if that yellow cab doesn't go, then I'll get into it. And then you had an experience there, and it's as if though God was whispering to you, but you kept resisting, whispering. You kept resisting, and I think the point you make there about leave God alone is a powerful point, because God never leaves us.
Absolutely.
He never leaves us. In the midst of the party, when the music is raving and the sound is up there and the beer is flowing, right there, the angel of God walked into Babylon, went by the wall and started writing. When the party was at its peak,
I love that.
God entered that party because he had a message for Belshazzar. Fortunately, he was so drunk he couldn't understand it. The Bible says his loins gave up. And so you walked with God through those moments. Maybe tell us the tipping point. Because at what point does God... Because I heard you talk about... What's the word you used? I'm back. Where are you coming from, and where had the evil one taken you to?
So, having broken into the industry, I find myself growing by the year, booking the next bigger campaign. So I find myself, finally I make it into the store window. And when the campaign is done, I'm all over the country. Namibia and Botswana as well, because a lot of the brands that are here in South Africa cover and service those regions as well. Now I thought I would have made it and I'd be happy, but guess what? I'd be so empty and I would be wanting the next big thing. And it happens every year. So this is from the year 2015. 2016, next big campaign. And I'm up on the windows, I'm traveling, I'm in magazines, newspapers. And as you say, you have achieved what you hoped and dreamt was the ultimate. I get to a point where I'm feeling empty and I'm like, what's the point here? And what God would do at the end of each year, and I think it would be the end of the year, because that's when things would get a bit quiet. Companies close down. There is no active work going on. This is the time where you are just spending your money. I remember celebrities from Joburg would come to Cape Town and would be in Camps Bay, and it's just party after party. But for me, because of not having financial literacy, money would come and be spent now. And I would do so with the mindset of I'll get more.
There's a gig that will come.
There's a gig that will come, and I got to a point where when there's no gig, I could write a proposal, and this is where I say there's providence on God's side and on Satan's side.
He facilitates that.
He facilitates it, and I would write a proposal to say today I need 20,000. Write a proposal. There's a brand that would be willing to pay that amount, and at the end of the year, I find myself alone. And God nudges softly, my son, can we talk now? And I'm like, God, no, not now. And I would know, because of the convictions from the Holy Spirit, that I need to surrender. So what would happen at the end of each year? There's something tragic that would just, go on. It's either I'm sitting there with no money, wanting to make a decision. And, God doesn't come in your life when he wants you with violence outright. He speaks to us gently. And when we don't listen, he may allow things to happen to get to us. So the year 2017 is the year that I bought my first car. I was 19 years old at the time. I bought this little Tata Indica for 21,000 Rand, and I'm cruising. That car saw the whole of Cape Town. There's no corner that it didn't enter. But it so happens that I get involved in an accident with that car. I had spent the night with some musicians from Joburg, and we performed at a university. I mean, I'm a fashion guy, but now the industry forces you to. There's a lot of people that ask me, there's a lot of people that ask me, man, I hear you want to follow God. Why can't you just follow Him and dress nicely and continue with your work? But what people didn't realize is that when you are in that space, you overlap. That's why they call it the entertainment industry, and it comprises of all the different branches.
And they're all interconnected.
Yeah. So I become friends with the biggest musicians in South Africa, and we are at UWC in Cape Town performing the evening. And I drove home the morning intoxicated. And I'm in the valley of decision of whether or not I'm going to give my life to God, and I get in that accident. In that moment, I knew this is God speaking to me, like Jonah.
Yeah.
But instead of following his voice, in fact, for a moment while I was laying on the hospital bed as they took my x-rays to see if anything was damaged, I said, God, you know what? When I get out of this hospital, I'm giving my life to you. Wow. As I'm making that decision, an email comes through. It's a payment. Another email comes through. I'm needed for an international campaign. So now you've got this choice to make. Hey, God, I know I made a promise, but yeah, this offering, there's this thing that I need to do quickly. I'll come back to you later. So this is literally what happens every time when I want to give my life to God. Something big would come, something enticing. And out of the hospital bed, I get up, I buy another car, I buy another phone because my phone had been stolen by the towing company that helped me, tow the accident wreck. And I'm back in the game. And I remember posting a picture on Instagram when I did the international campaign. I used the caption, I'm back in the game and it's second half. Wow. The arrogance that one had at the time. And I mean, these are things that I can only acknowledge now in hindsight. Yeah, so there was a tension, man, a controversy, as you rightfully put it, in God intervening, in Him trying to call me. But what I also learned is that God is not a dictator. He allows you to make your own choices. And by the time someone dies, or by the time someone leaves God entirely, God would have been there, enough for this person to make a decision. So God always intervened, but I always chose my own way. I wasn't in one accident. I was in two accidents. So the other accident, I hit a person this time. I remember it was in the morning. It was a bit rainy. And having hung out a lot with hip-hop artists, they had convinced me that, man, you'll make a good DJ. I mean, I was loud at that time. I was outspoken, and I was, the entertainer and the painter of the room. And they said, no, you'll make a good hip-hop DJ. Wow. And I ordered these DJ decks, these mixers, from online. And I wasn't even supposed to go to pick them up because they were being delivered to my house.
But as I checked
the order, I was so eager to go collect them at the airport. So I drove to the airport and I have an accident that morning. And I knew that it's God. I said, God, why are you bothering me? And I remember at that time, I told myself, God, leave me alone. Stop disturbing me, because I really felt that he kept on intervening in my journey. He kept on disturbing, calling me, trying to appeal to my reasoning. And in the moment that I said, God, leave me alone, I was really done with God. And I think I faced the most success, if you will, when I said, God, leave me alone. Because once you proclaim that, you then hand over yourself fully to Satan. But as you may listen, to whoever is listening to this, you may think, so for me to make money, I must say, God, leave me alone. There are consequences that come with leaving God. Big consequences. And I am lucky to be alive. Yeah.
Would you want to talk to us about some of those consequences? Because I know there are young people who are watching right there. And just behind our set right now, I've got my son sitting there. It's his birthday today. Let's give him a shout out to Mr. Wayne. Happy birthday. And I'm sure they're interested to know, what are the consequences?
Yeah.
What did you suffer that you say, when you say, God, leave me? The success came, but what was the price?
Yeah. So the success comes at a point where everyone around me is successful. I mean, I remember being in someone's BMW X6 at the time. The car has just come out and is showing me the sound. I mean, when you play that sound in the car, it's nice. But I mean, you've got success and everyone around me is drinking, is using drugs, but you're successful. Then why do you need to enjoy your success
through substances?
Through substances,
gadgets,
can't you be sober and just enjoy your car? You know, and I'm at a space where campaigns are no longer fulfilling, and I'm depressed, successful to the world, but empty inside. Anything that I've dreamt of, Satan has presented it and given it to me. And I say so because the Bible gives me premise. He came to Jesus in Matthew chapter 4 and he says, you see all of these kingdoms, I'll give them to you. And he gave me, you know, a lot of things. Sure, I may not have driven the most expensive cars, but to think of a 19-year-old dealing with what would be people's salaries monthly, I mean, I make that per gig, but still empty inside. So I'm walking around depressed, and to suppress that depression, I'm using substances, and you find yourself not being satisfied with anything. I mean, I'm enticed to a promiscuous lifestyle. And even then you think when you've got the most, I mean, we spoke about the choices we made in marrying our wives respectively. You think that when you've got the most beautiful girl, the one that everyone says, wow, you'd be happy. But you'd find that, I mean, you are with the person, but even then, you want the next one, the more beautiful one. So it's empty, man. It was just emptiness. And I think the book of Ecclesiastes actually puts it quite clearly. The struggle, the consequences. It's vanity of vanities. And I think I'm fortunate to be alive. So the consequences would obviously be the substance abuse, the depression that comes with it, and constant validation seeking from people that really don't care about you. And the biggest consequence suffered was the lack of peace in what I perceived as success. And I mean, there's a lot of relational challenges that come with fame. Now you can't hang out with your childhood friends anymore. You are no longer available for your family. I mean, when you come in the house, your breath is of alcohol and you can't even look your mother in the eye and speak to her. I mean, who would want, is that success where you can't face your parents and talk to them? And the other consequences that I still live to regret today is the influence and impact that I had upon other young people. I mean, they looked at the life that I was living and they thought, man, this is life, and they pursued the same journey. And I see many suffer today who are a direct impact of the influence that I had on them. And I mean, Satan chooses who he wants, and a lot of people die having almost made it but never getting there. So it wasn't a pretty journey. And some of the scars we live up to this day with. I mean, I've got a scar on my neck that's a reminder of how I almost lost my life. In fact, that evening when I drove the car, when I had the accident, I'm just speaking of the consequences. I normally wouldn't put my seatbelt on. I would clip it at the back.
So that alarm cannot ring.
Yeah, so I can drive properly. And
properly meaning I'm leaning forward.
Leaning forward and fast, like Jehu.
Oh my Lord.
And that morning,
I
don't know how my seatbelt is on. Because I definitely know I'm not the one who put it on. Because it was clipped in the back. But my seatbelt is on, and when I have the accident, it keeps me from smashing my head onto the steering wheel or even out of the car. So yes, I live with the consequences till this day, but I mean, I love my scar because it's a reminder of how God saved my life and what the pictures represented online, the fancy and luxurious life was not all that luxurious. There was a lot of consequences that came with that.
So not all that glitters is gold.
That's a true saying.
You know that by experience.
No, that's a true saying. I know by experience.
I want to reconnect you and your family at this stage.
Yeah.
How does your faith actually impact your your family life and your relationships at that time? I know you've talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in looking at how your faith individually as a person and that of your family actually determined the dynamics of what then happens into your life moving forward. Particularly, I'm interested in some of the experiences you can remember with your brothers or your mother or your father, those who were around you as you were moving and, climbing the ladder, as we call it. What are some of those peculiar experiences that really tested your faith to the point where it forced you to make certain decisions that will either honor or continue to dishonor God?
Yeah, it's not as straightforward as I would have loved it to be. You've got a son who is successful in the eyes of the world, who's traveling, who every other person wants to be like, because parents compare their children. Stop doing that. And
okay. I hope they can hear the parents who are at home. Stop it now.
Yeah. So my parents are in a situation where at least the world is looking at me like I'm busy with my life. I'm doing something. And I remember one day coming to my dad. I would have wanted to keep this part at the end because that then turns out to be one of my favorite verses. But I'll repeat it if needs be.
Yes.
I come to my dad and they were never shaken in faith based on what was success to me. They stood strong, and there was actually a group of women who prayed with my mother at church. I thank them till this day because as I was in this controversy, there were people who were praying for me. And the rules of engagement of this controversy that we are in with Satan, intercessory prayer, praying on behalf of someone, is something that we shouldn't stop doing. If you've got children that have left the straight and narrow path, if you've got children that are giving up on God, pray for them.
Wow.
Yeah, that one is not a fight where you must beat people up with belts. Yeah, you don't beat someone into their conversion. Pray for them. And those prayers would slow me down, man. There were times where I needed to fly overseas, and there were opportunities that would have really have taken me off to a point where I'd have never come back. But to a large extent, there were things that never worked out. And now that I look back, it's because of the faith and prayer of these women that my mother used to pray with. And I think my dad prayed quite a lot for me as well. So I remember walking in at home one day and I told my dad, this thing of church, this church that you keep going to, it's slowing you down, man. I'm now sitting meetings with other people's fathers. They were rich, man, who are seriously rich, driving big cars. So this thing of your faith is slowing you down. Why don't you join me? Why don't you?
You're recruiting your dad now.
I wanted to recruit my dad, and I mean he maybe will remember this, but the way I spoke with him was. And I realize now that it was probably not me speaking. It was, a demon speaking through me.
It entered you, yeah.
Yeah, and he looks at me and he considered what I've said for a moment. Because, things are not always smooth at home. You've got a house that you're paying for. You've got our studies that you've paid for. And you're trying to balance these loans. And you're hearing your son saying, hey, man, I've met serious people there, man, and there's money here. Leave this thing of the Sabbath. It's slowing you down. And he looks at me. And he quotes Hebrews 11:24 and 25. And he says, when Moses was come of age, by faith, when Moses was come of age, he chose not to be the daughter or the son of the daughter of Pharaoh. But verse 25 is the one that I resonate with quite a lot. Choosing to suffer affliction with the children of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin for a season. That's the answer that he gives me, and he walks away. And that ever bothered me as one who was navigating issues of success and faith. And I'm like, this man is crazy. How can you choose to suffer and not live a soft life now? But those were seeds that God was planting in my heart to say that there's nothing there, and little is much when God is in it. Rather have something that God is pleased about than have the world but your soul be lost. So that's one verse that he quoted.
Yeah.
And even now it just stands to be a constant reminder when things get tough, rather suffer now, knowing that God has a reward at the end for those that overcome.
But there's a day you woke up and things changed forever. What was that tipping point?
The year is 2019, and I mean, I have ticked off every dream that I've had in my life as a young man at the time. The industry is not bringing me fulfillment anymore, and I know there's something deeper. There's something bigger that I'm lacking. It's Blaise Pascal who said that there's a God-shaped hole in the heart of each and every man that only God himself can fulfill. And we try to fill this hole with money, with women, with men, with cars,
educational attainments,
with career promotions and all these things. And you are emptier than what you were before you tried filling it with these things. So God created us with that void in our hearts. And I love the preface to the book, The Desire of Ages, one of my favorite books. It's a very nice read. I recommend that book. And it says that when you try to fill this void that God left in each and every man's heart, you become emptier than what you were when you started. And it's only Jesus who can fill that void. So the turning point for me comes when I'm trying to fill this void. And I saw that, man, for the past 4 or 5 years, I haven't managed to fill this void. Why am I still depressed when what I perceive to be success is here with me? So I promised God. I think that's a big mistake that we oftentimes make. To promise God. We can't make promises to God.
We can't even keep half of them.
Our promises are like ropes of sand. I mean, you can't really make a rope out of sand. It breaks. It's broken. So I promised God that, God, I hear you. You've been calling me. I've had 2 accidents. Things are not going well for me mentally. I'm not fulfilled. I'm empty. I want to give my life to you. The year is 2019.
Okay.
But I want my fame. My fame is not going anywhere.
I want Jesus and my fame.
And God is so patient with us, man. I want my fame. But what I can offer you, God, in this deal is that, you see, I'll leave the sinful way of living.
Okay.
And I'll go to church. And I'll read my Bible. But I continue to work. And God says, okay, he allows me. I mean, he didn't respond using his voice, but he allows me to go on with that mentality. The year 2019 comes and I find myself in a space where I've made these promises to God, and it's December, it's quiet, and this is the time where I'd normally have an accident or something crazy happen. But this time it's not an accident. I attend a friend of mine's sister's wedding, and at that wedding I post a picture, and a famous rapper that I had made friends with, I mean, we're very close, says, boy, we in Cape Town. Oh. And he was hosting at a club that evening. Now I've made a promise to God to say, God,
I'm going to be a nice boy.
I'm going to be a good boy now. And I'm looking at this, and I know what being at the club in the company of this person can do. Because, I mean, the entertainment industry is so fake. No one, there are no true friends in there. I'm friends with you because of what you can give me.
All right.
I'm friends with this person because, I mean, if I'm seen with him, these companies would think I'm a serious person. You know,
I have influence. That's the word.
It's perception.
Yes.
It's fickle. It's fake. You are empty. You don't have friends that you can really talk to, which is why there's a lot of suicide in the entertainment industry, a lot of drug abuse in the entertainment industry, a lot of cheating to those that are married and in the industry. You can't trust anyone because every other person is just using you for what you can give them. So I'm telling God that, God, you see, this one is a business move. if I go to the club this evening,
you are rationalizing with God.
No, I was a good negotiator with God, and I'm still trying to unlearn and really just take him at his word. So I rationalize and I say, if I go this evening, it's a business move. I'm going there to just be seen, 1 or 2 pictures taken. I post that and I'm out. Couldn't make a decision. I remember coming home and I'm sitting down.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I know that God is saying, don't go. You know, the Spirit of God convicts us and really nudges us to do what's right. And I'm sitting down, I'm not going to go. But at the same time, there's another side of me that's saying, boy, just go.
Yeah.
I think I fought, and I sat with my brothers that evening. I'm like, guys, what do I do? Do I go, or do I not? I really want to give my life to the Lord now. And I eventually order an Uber.
Okay. Because
my car is broken up, it doesn't have a bumper, because I was in that accident when I was trying to become a DJ. And the Uber comes, and it's a Zimbabwean guy. He speaks my language. We speak the same language. And he picks me up. I've got my shades on, because I always used to have shades on. It's either my eyes were too red of having smoked something, or I just wanted to be too cool. So I've got my shades on. And I mean, as I speak about it now, I don't speak to promote it, but there are consequences that you suffer for the rest of your life. I don't think my lung capacity is where it's supposed to be at. We disobey God thinking that we will come to him just before we die.
But if our minds are still sane at that point.
Exactly. Ellen G. White writes in reflection on the life of Solomon to say that when Solomon came back to the Lord, the consequences that he had suffered from a life of self-abuse were dire. He was no longer the man that was as handsome as he used to be. And I think to a large extent, I still suffer some of those consequences even till this day.
Yeah.
So I get in this Uber. I've got my shades on. Let me not run away from the story.
Yeah.
And this Uber driver starts speaking to me, and for some odd reason I entertain him. And he starts telling me how he was a big football player in Zim, and how he was set to play in a big tournament. I think it's the Olympics, and how he was so good that he stayed at the sports minister's or some big person's house and training from there. And as he's doing this, he gets an injury.
Okay.
Now at the time, I'm saying, where is this guy going with this story? Because I was involved in football. I used to play in what they call celebrity exhibition matches, with the likes of Benny McCarthy, Teko Modise, with the Bafana Legends. And I've got a sponsorship with a sportswear brand. So I'm really immersed within the football space, and he's starting to tell me the story. I'm thinking to myself, where is this person going with this story? And he starts telling me how he then gets chucked out of the team after his injury, and how the team no longer wanted him, and how he's now finding comfort in being faithful to God, and how his life is a lot more at peace now, and how he's much more happy having chosen God. And he actually tells me he's Seventh-day Adventist. I'm like, oh, okay. God, that's a nice coincidence. I see what you're doing, but you leave me alone,
So I'm on my mission.
As he drops me off at the club, I see God's hand in sending this person. And I mean, God always interjects in our lives to win us over. And I see God's hand in that when he drops me off, he doesn't know what I'm going through. I haven't told him a single thing.
Yeah.
But he tells me, man, choose wisely.
Choose wisely.
Drops me off. I think he even bought me a bottle of water or something. That's how nice the conversation was.
Wow.
As he drops me off at the club, the rock star switches on, because now I need to
you metamorphosize, and you are now into another creature altogether.
And it's so funny how you can know a celebrity, but when you see a celebrity in their performance mode, either an actor or a musician, they are two different people when they get in performance mode. And I had that, You get to the club, you become the rock star now. You are not walking on the ground, you float. and as you pass women, you give them a smile, and they almost fall to their feet. And I'm there now at the club. And I remember one of the team members to this artist who had invited me coming down, because you don't just enter these clubs that I was going to. You don't just come there. It's not a shabin.
That you can just walk in and out the way you want.
It's exclusive. It's a space where the who's and who's are, and it's a space where millions are spent per night. And I get there. He comes down, I get my VIP tag, and we on now, you know.
Wow.
Coming alive, we used to call ourselves the government. So there'd be the minister of entertainment, there'd be the minister of operations, there'd be the minister. It was ridiculous when I think about it. So I get there, and I mean, as I'm walking in, the artist stops the whole show and he gives me a shout out. Yo, shout out my boy. Anesu was my name at the time.
All right.
And I get, shown into VIP, and I mean, it's a mess. It's like the feast of the king,
Belshazzar,
yeah. And I'm in there, and there's a shift that I feel that evening I knew that I at least had the attention of people, but that specific evening, there's this odd power that I felt within me that now I can control the crowd. You stand up on a table and you can tell people, raise your hands, and they raise their hands. You can tell people, go this way, they can go that way, go the other way, they go. And you're just controlling people like puppets, and I really felt that power that evening. But I didn't know that would be the turning point in my life. So the night goes on, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 a.m. It's now time for the club to shut down towards sunset. Towards sunrise, I beg your pardon.
Yes.
And we get down. I think there's even a time when the police came to shut down this club, and I think they got paid downstairs, and the party continued.
Someone had complained on the noise.
Yes, and they left. We get downstairs, the night is now over. And I've got two options. I'm normally accustomed to going to the hotel. And I mean, from the club, the party doesn't stop. It goes and continues in the hotel. And I've got a choice to go with the team there. But remember the choice and the promise that I had made to God, to say, God, I continue in this industry only on a work basis. I say, God, I'm here now. And this is where we get to the yellow cab.
All right.
I'm here. I don't have a car. My phone is flat. I have no option but to go with the guys. Because I'm also wanting to go there, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm really not wanting to disappoint God. And there's a cab that's parked in a distance, a few meters away. And I tell God, I've never been in a cab before. But for you, God, this evening or this morning, if that cab is still there by the time I say goodbye to everyone here, no problem. I'll go home.
Okay.
And honor you.
Okay.
But if the cab is gone, I'm getting in the bus and I'm going with the people to the hotel,
the after party.
To the after party, if you will. God is patient with our lack of understanding and our ignorance. And I think
even our ignorant prayers.
Absolutely. And here, I mean, I have no idea how to talk to God. I have no idea how to, because life is happening so fast. So I walk up to the artist and I want to say goodbye, to my friends and to him. But as I'm walking up, he pulls me closer. He says, boy, do you know who this is? He was talking to someone. And this person had been complaining to this artist that my career is not moving fast enough. So in that moment, the artist says to this DJ who had been complaining about his career being stagnant, that I knew this kid 5 years ago when he entered the game. I'm thinking to myself, there's no way, because I met this artist just the last year. How does he know me 5 years back?
5 years ago.
In hindsight, I think about it now and I'm really thinking these are perhaps the tricks that the enemy was using to, I mean, in that moment, it was definitely the enemy speaking, and I chose this boy. And it's his 5-year mark in the industry now. And something big is about to happen for him. Wow. So the point I'm making to you, speaking to the DJ now, is that you have to be patient. the 5-year mark, something special is going to happen. I've been in the industry for 10 years and something special is about to happen. And it's true that each and every year I would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean, I find that conversation rather odd, but I managed to say my goodbyes and the cab was still standing. So I go to the cab and I knock on the window and the driver rolls down the window and he asks me, "Where are you going?" And I told him I'm going to Kales River. He says, "I know Go Stellenbosch." He was a big Nigerian guy.
Okay.
"I know Go Stellenbosch."
I know Go.
I'm like, "Hey man, but you know, it's not even that far. It's just down the road."
Yeah.
So I said, "God, I've tried. it's to the after party now.
I'm going.
But in my moment of turning around and walking away from the cab, he says, "Hey, come here. He calls me back.
Okay.
And as I'm walking back to him, he says, "Get inside."
All right.
I got in the cab. I'm like, "God, it's fine. If we are going with this guy, it's fine." And that's the evening where my life turned around.
That's morning.
That's the morning.
Yeah.
It's still dark. And we are driving on the N1 in Cape Town. And we start conversing. So he asks.
This is like before sunrise.
This is before sunrise.
Early in the morning. Yeah.
Early in the morning. And he's asking, "Who is that person that everyone is standing around?" I'm like, "Man, you don't know." I mentioned the name. And he's like, "Who is that?" And I started, singing a few of this artist's songs. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I know him. I've been sent to tell you something." I'm like, "Sent? Sent by..." I'm arrogant. I'm like, "What is this person talking
You're
about
a cab
now?"
driver after all.
You're a cab driver. "I've been sent to tell you something. I'm a demigod. I've been alive for 1,000 years. I'm looking at this guy.
What?
And my Christian antennas are just going, they are ringing.
They're ringing outside.
I know the state of the dead. I know what happens to people according to the Bible when they die. I know that no one can live for 1,000 years. In fact, no one has ever lived for 1,000 years. I'm asking myself, this person, what are they on about? So in my mind, I'm just like, Uber drivers and their stories. These guys always have some story to tell, So in the moment, I don't take him seriously. But it gets intense when he starts saying, "You see that guy that was there? That guy is a spirit. He's dead." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And instantly the car gets cold. You've got the power now. What are you talking about? What power? He starts telling me what I do. He tells me I'm a model. He tells me I'm a fashion influencer. He tells me that I have been holding myself back. But now is the time. Now is the 5-year mark. You've got the power now. I ask him, "What power?" He says the fame, the fortune, the big house, the big cars. You're there now. You've made it. You're an A-lister. And he continues to say, "The normal people know us as the Illuminati." Now, this is a term that I had heard growing up. I mean, celebrities are all Illuminati, wada. But now I'm told that the normal people know us as the Illuminati, but we are bigger than that. We are deeper than that.
This is the cab driver.
This is the cab driver. Wow. And I mean, I could have said, this guy is talking nonsense, but he continues to speak. Now he starts crying. Tears are rolling down his eyes. He says, "I used to be a driver for the royalty in England.
Okay.
But I had to kill my son. And I thought to myself, man, this person is about to kill me now.
Sure.
In the place of his son, he's going to kill me." So I'm looking at the door.
And making sure you know where the handle is.
And I'm just calculating that, hey, if I pull the handle, it's the N1, but it's late in the morning. I'm looking at the highway, it's not too busy. While I'm thinking this in my mind, he tells me, "Don't be afraid. That's the problem. You are too afraid." I'm thinking, how does this person even know the calculations I'm making in my mind here? Hey, then I started praying. I said, "God, I know I've been playing with you, ne? And I think it was in that moment. And I mean, we laugh at it now, but it wasn't funny when it was happening.
Wow.
God, I've been playing with you, but I realized that good and evil exists. God and Satan is real. And it was in that moment. I mean, it's easy to be born in the church. And a lot of the times I don't recommend, but I envy people that come to accept Jesus at a later stage in their life, because you come in with all or nothing, having known that the world has nothing to offer you. But when you're born in the church,
And
your
you're
parents
young.
do their best.
Yeah.
They teach you, but it becomes almost a ritual, a routine. You don't realize the realness of this controversy. You don't realize the realness of God. And it was in that moment that I felt that no. Here I'm dealing with powers that are just beyond. The Bible tells us in the book of Ephesians that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And in that moment I realized, these are spirits in high places that I'm dealing with here. So I started praying. I said, God, I've been playing, and today I'm giving you my life. Today.
Wow.
If you save me out of this situation. And guess what this driver says? Stop praying to that Jesus. There's power in the name of Jesus.
So
and the
could
Bible
feel-
tells us even the demons tremble.
So you could
When you
feel that there's
proclaim.
prayer being made here.
Probably could feel it. And they tremble when we mention the name or call upon the name of Jesus. Stop praying to that Jesus. Now I'm shivering. Now I sit up and I'm like, hey, so there's nothing that I can think about or contemplate in my heart that this guy doesn't know. Wow. By the way, the devil can't read our minds, but I think the experience that he's had with humanity can read and predict our behavior. And in this moment, I call upon the name of Jesus. I believe that Jesus came and his presence, his angels were there, and this guy tells me to stop praying to that Jesus. So he starts telling me how I'm gonna be successful, how the guy at the club doesn't have the power anymore, he's just dead. And I say this because the guy dies 2 years after this incident. And this strengthened my faith even deeper. And before he passed away, I wrote him a message when I eventually surrendered my life to God. That, my brother, this is the decision that I'm making. I really wish you could choose the same. He never responded to the message, but he saw it. And I mean, God knows people's hearts. And even then, my mind and my ideas around people who die by suicide changed to say, I mean, we oftentimes write people off when they've killed themselves to say, there's no heaven for them. But in that, I just knew that it's not as straightforward as we would like it to be. But to come back to the story, he tells me that I can't leave this industry. And I have a choice to make. If I ever leave, I'm going to go crazy. Or I'm going to kill myself. Or I'm going to be on drugs like the models in Milan who try and leave the industry. You'll go crazy. You can't leave us. You are with us forever. I'm thinking to myself, God, I don't know what I've gotten myself into, but save me. And we're driving on the highway, and he tells me that one thing that he made or decision was that he's never gonna kill. And the word of advice that he has for me as my handler is that whenever someone comes and presents you with millions, presents you with a house, presents you with a supercar, you must ask them, what is in it for me?
Okay.
Don't just accept things. So he's guiding me now on what steps to take as I'm stepping into
this
the
fame.
next platform, the next stage of fame. I'm thinking to myself, God, I want none of this. Help me, save me. I don't want what this guy is offering. So I remember parking at the garage when we got closer to home because I needed to withdraw money to pay him.
Okay.
And I got out, I bought him a bottle of water. And as I get back in the car, I'd gotten to a point where I realized I can't run away from this guy. I can't lie to this guy. And I just accepted my fate. It's me and my demigod for the evening, in quotes.
Yeah.
And we sit in the car. And now the sun is coming up. This was a long morning, if you will. Now the sun is coming up. And I tell him, my brother, from here I'm fine. Can I walk home? And he says, that's your problem. You're too scared. If I wanted to kill you, I would have done it a long time ago, but I don't kill.
Wow.
I said, hey, I can't. A lady walks out. We at a garage, and we are parked facing the entrance to the store door. Mm-hmm. A lady walks out, and he looks at me. He says, she's a part of us. He's giving evidence now. Wow. He does a sign with his hand. I don't remember the sign, but he does a sign with his hand.
Yeah.
And he says, just watch. She's a part of us. Now we look at this lady. She walks past the car. She ignores us. And as we turn around, the lady turns back and throws the same sign. This is a random garage that we've stopped at. Wow. Throws the same sign. And I just realized I'm in trouble here.
I'm surrounded.
And you would think the decision would have been easy to make, but it wasn't. I wanted what this guy had to offer. But at the same time, I knew the obligations I had to God. So I'm sitting at the crossroads. I knew if I accepted this offer, sure, I may have been richer. May have bought a house in Waterfall Corner where all my celebrity friends are staying, and I may have driven a Ferrari as well, or whatever. And I'm not implying by any means that those who have those things and those who are celebrities are Illuminati. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling my story.
Yeah.
I get to a point where he drops me off. And he echoes similar sentiments to the first driver. He says, choose wisely.
What?
I'm thinking, God, what have I gotten myself into? And in that moment, I realized there is no man who can be of two minds. You can't serve God and serve the world. And God is patient with us. But there's a time that will come in each and every one of our lives where we will have to make a stand, to make a choice for God. And God doesn't force us to stand for him. But there's a time where we have to make a stand.
For him.
Either for him or for the world. But we have to make that decision. So he drops me off, and I remember sitting down, being unable to wake up. I was so depressed, and I'd never faced depression the way that I faced it then. Because before then, it was easy to go to the next event, to go to the next
he's
campaign.
Scaling you up and bringing you closer.
To go to the next friend's house, to get on the plane. I mean, there were times I would get bored in Cape Town, get on a flight, go to Joburg. And so it was easy to escape depression. But now I'm sitting down at home. And I've got this decision to make, and I'm really depressed. I couldn't wake up out of bed. There's a time where my best friend came, visited me at home, and he says, boy, you can't live like this. He started cleaning my room for me. It was that bad. Couldn't wake up, didn't make my bed. I barely would bath. I was just stuck. Thinking of the incident that had happened to me, trying to make a decision. God, I see now I have to choose you, and I understand now that it's a full surrender that I must make.
Yeah.
But if I choose you, where am I going to get money? If I choose you, what work am I going to do? Because fashion is all that I know how to do. This is where I've established myself. And if I choose the industry, I know money is going to come, but what about my eternity? I believe in the Bible when it says that we are going to heaven. I believe in the account of Revelation chapter 21 where all these things will pass away. And I also want to be in that new heaven and new earth.
Yeah.
What decision do I make? So I got really depressed, and I remember 2020 starting. January, I was quiet, I was battling. February, I was battling, and now the money had run out now.
All right.
And I needed to do something, to get a quick gig to get money. So I reached out to one brand, and they sent me to Fashion Week. There's an event that I think it's the biggest fashion week in South Africa. It's called AFI, Africa Fashion Week International. And they said, you know what, you will go cover the event for us. I think the gig paid around 5,000 Rand at the time. And I mean, just to go to the fashion week, be dressed in their clothes and post a few pictures, you get paid 5,000 Rand. I thought, okay, cool, that's not a bad idea. Let me go there. It's March 2020. And I go to the fashion week. But as I get there, I'm no longer the same person. That encounter that night changed me. And I'm now shy. I'm now not sure. I'm just there, you know. I do my job as regular. I take my pictures. I post them. The brand is happy. And I'm still battling in my heart. And ever, more than ever before, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. So I even remember, I mean, I wouldn't want to mention his name. You guys may get in trouble, but he's the richest man in South Africa. His wife is the owner of this fashion week platform. He's sitting in the front row. I'm also there. And this hip-hop artist comes and he's performing. He says, shout out my boy Anesu. I mean, in front of the richest man in South Africa. And I'm thinking, man, yeah, I've arrived, you know.
They are pumping you up.
They're
too.
pumping me up, yeah. But in that moment, I just knew, man, this is not it. And I think when God realizes the battle in our hearts, he assists us by his spirit to make that decision for him. And I think COVID-19 came as a huge blessing, not only in my life, but in many other people. I mean, the testimonies that you can get out of the COVID experience from people are crazy. An announcement comes through the intercom at this event. We're sitting, I'm front row at Fashion Week. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an unfortunate announcement to make. The event has been shut down with immediate effect. Please vacate your seats, vacate the building due to COVID-19. Wow. I think it's a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. The president had announced the immediate lockdown of restaurants, of all public space.
Yes, 27 March, was the date.
That was the date. I'm thinking to myself, what's happening now? I've just met this demigod who knows my thoughts. Now is the world coming to an end? What's going on, God? Like am I being left from heaven now? And that's the moment that the turning point happens. For the very first time, I sat down at home and actually opened my Bible. I mean, I had been going to church, and whenever I would go to church, I always laugh now when I've got this theory where I believe in the moderate use of perfume and cologne. Because back then, I used to spray myself with the most expensive perfume.
And saturate yourself.
Saturate myself. That when I stood at the door of the church, the whole church would just turn their head and they knew that I was there now.
Oh my
People's
Lord.
mothers would come and hug me.
They want to take a little bit of their...
They want to take a little bit, you know, and that's the life that I've lived. But I get to a point now where for the very first time, I read my Bible genuinely, because whenever I would go to church, I don't think it was for the right reasons. People would give me, and by the way, let's not praise people. We've got lawyers in the church. We've got doctors. Let's not uplift and puff each other's heads up, because I think by puffing each other up, we do more damage for the salvation of someone than for, you know, it's bad, man. I go to church, speak to our young people. We are proud of what you are doing. I mean, this is coming from pastors at church. We want them to be like you. Hey, when you go on TV, represent us there. I'm like, do you know the life that I'm living and what you know?
What it comes with.
For the first time, I open my Bible and I'm looking for answers. And I just pray, God, I think this is it. I've chosen you. Guide me. I read a book that I recommend that everyone reads, The Great Controversy.
Wow.
And this book explained the battle that I had experienced, and I really saw the fight for my soul. I mean, how the devil wanted me, how God wanted me. And for many of us, the devil catches us just by the movies we watch. But for some of us, we say, the movies are not enough. I want to be the person acting
in there.
And someone says, no, acting is not enough. I want to be the producer. Someone says, no, I want to be the writer. And these are the levels that the devil catches a lot of us. And it's unfortunate to say, for some of us, we are crippled and imprisoned by our cell phones, scrolling endlessly on TikTok. And the devil has you. No time to read your Bible. No time to pray. You're scrolling. 8 hours a day scrolling.
Bottomless pit.
Bottomless pit.
Never ends. It keeps going.
For the first time I sit down, I read my Bible.
The hard copy.
The hard copy.
You're opening the pages.
Opening the pages.
Any particular book that draws you to?
There was a series that I watched that spoke on, was it justification? And there was a story read. I don't quite remember, but it's called Total Transformation by Walter V.
Yes,
Fife.
yes.
That series, I worked through that series, and it
Total
really
onslaught or total
transformation, not onslaught.
All right,
not onslaught.
The transformation one. Okay.
Because now, for the first time through reading the Word, I really understood that I don't have power in and of myself to bring upon myself good change. If you're struggling with drinking alcohol, you may desire to stop, but you can't do it by yourself.
There's nothing in there to.
If you are promiscuous and you can't sleep at home alone, you must sleep at other people's houses, and you really want to stop, there is no power, even though you may desire. And I got to understand that it's by surrendering our will to God that we can overcome. That's what I learned. And I'm reading my Bible. It comes to life for the first time. I cut my hair because I had this uppercut that I had. That was my signature look.
Wow.
And temptations came.
Yeah.
There were brands, because what happened during COVID, a lot of brands wanted to create stay-at-home content, and a few brands emailed me, and I had a choice to make whether I'm gonna take on this work, because I remember once I take the work, I'm back in that space. So I remember being tempted by the one email, because I think the pay was really good.
Yeah.
The brand was international. And my brother looks at me when I asked him. I mean, we spoke a lot because my brothers were quite active in my journey in the industry. Because I mean, my younger brother was an actor studying at Stellenbosch University.
Okay.
The other one was still in school, but he was my runaround guy. He would style me. If I'm on a flight going to an event, I'll tell him put an outfit one side. I didn't even need to explain to him what to put aside. We just worked in sync like that. He's really good. But he's working for the Lord now. We praise him. So my brother looks at me when I'm tempted to take this gig, through that time of conversion. He looks at me and he laughs at me. He's like, dude, have you seen how you look? Because I cut my hair and I really just looked, I'd lost weight due to the depression. And I looked like someone who had been pulled out of a coffin, man. It was bad. He laughs at me, and I really felt my self-esteem just going down, and I accepted that. God, you know what? I'll just choose you and be your humble servant. I read The Great Controversy in 3 days.
And finish it.
3 days I finished it. The scriptures, our safeguard. I go to the Bible, and it answered, the whole issue with the demigod. I got to understand that, no, there are demons that Satan works through, speaks through. And I just got to understand the battle over all of our souls. The things that happen in our lives are not happening by chance.
True.
There is a war over our souls, either for God or for Satan.
True.
Through that experience, I make a decision. I said, God, I want to be baptized. Because all along, when my parents would encourage me, have you considered baptism? I would say, no, I still want to enjoy the world.
Give me some time.
Give me some time. I'll come when I'm done. And I just want to say to young people that may be watching this, serve God with your youth, man.
Don't waste it.
Serve God when you still have energy. Serve God with your life, not with the rest of your life when you are finished. You know. So when I look for baptism, it's COVID. There's no baptism allowed. And I thought, hey, God, what's happening now? I want to get baptized now. The churches are closed. Baptism is closed. But we thank God it eventually opens up, and I got baptized in 2021 at Heidelberg High School. And that's the journey of transformation. And I think that's how I end up surrendering my life to God.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle, man. There were things that I would still do. I would want to mention this one just for someone who may be struggling and not really understanding issues around pornography.
Yes.
You get this guy who is coming out of the entertainment industry. Girls are everywhere. And I said, God, I understand that in your Bible, you say that thou shalt not fornicate and commit adultery. Aye, man, but there's this phone thing where you can just look up and just...
I'm not doing it. I'm just looking.
I'm working from home. But in that moment, for anyone who may be struggling, the discourse of Jesus in the book of Matthew comes that says that if you look at a woman to lust after her, you've done it. And I got a new understanding of what sin and what grace is. You know, sin is the action, but when it's conceived within the heart, that's what God cares about.
Yeah.
That's what God cares about.
Yes.
When I hate someone, I may not kill them, but God says the person who hates their brother is a murderer. Because, I mean, it's what happens in the heart. So I get to understand all these theological concepts. I get to understand how we are justified. I get to understand the process of sanctification and God's patience with us. And I mean, some issues and struggles that I had fell off instantly. I no longer had the craving to drink alcohol. I no longer had the craving to smoke weed. And by the way, for those people that are smoking weed and say that it's not a drug, that I think that's one of the most dangerous things that anyone can ever smoke and say no, it's medicinal. That is deception. What weed does, and what I realized, and I say this for the youth, I mean, there's temptation now that you didn't face in your years. Things are available now. Back in your years, if you wanted to be promiscuous with women, I don't know, you'd have to go to a bush somewhere.
Now you have to go somewhere.
Now there's Airbnb now. Now you can walk in a store. Kids have got banking cards now. Kids have got money. And the point I'm wanting to make is that temptation is accessible to an extent.
Available.
It's free. Yeah. For those that may be struggling with weed, thinking that it's not affecting them, I'd find that whenever I'd be under the influence, the Holy Spirit's voice would just go quiet in my mind.
Okay.
And I would be in a space where I could do things that are sinful without the conscience
registering it.
So by smoking,
so it removes the inhibitions.
Exactly. You stifle the voice of God.
That's why when you drink, even the ugliest woman, I know people may want to ask, how do you know someone is ugly? They become beautiful.
Absolutely. Your senses are distorted. That's why the Bible urges us to be sober. Literally, to be vigilant.
Yes.
Because our enemy is roaming around like a lion seeking whom he may devour. Now think of your fighting chances when you're always intoxicated by something. That's why God even encourages us that, you know, we shouldn't even eat foods that are intoxicating, foods that are stimulating in taste.
That inflame our bodies.
Absolutely. So I get to a point where I realize that, man, if I'm going to serve God, it needs to be full surrender. So some things, as I mentioned, fall off easily, but there were things that had to take a bit of time. You know, to fight and get a complete surrender.
Yeah.
But what I do want to say is that God has been working on me, and I think this work is going to go on forever. I can't love everyone naturally, but God is teaching me to love those people that I may not be inclined to love. And I mean, our hearts are just deceitful above all things. But since that day, God has really been patient with me. I think 2021, I got baptized. It's now 2025. I know it may be a few years, but I can tell you that for me, it's been a lifetime of walking with God. And one thing that I have now, more than then, is peace. That surpasses all understanding.
Wow.
No food in the house, it's fine. God is going to give us food. I mean, He's the one who created this earth. Why must you bother?
Wow.
Yeah.
And in the process, you got married?
Yes, God is so good, man.
Yeah.
I learned the lesson that I didn't have to dishonor God to be successful. A lot of the times, I know some people are writing exams on Sabbath saying it's just an exam.
Yeah.
You know,
it will pass.
You don't have to. You see, when something comes with compromise to God's commands, it's not from God. If God can't assist you through something that would have led you to break His law, trust
then
God
it is
to
not
come
from
through
God.
for you.
Yeah.
So I've left the industry. There is no money now. And perhaps I'll unpack a bit more details that I didn't share in my story because of time.
Yeah.
But I don't have work. I don't have experience in any other field. Yes, I've studied marketing, but I've never really worked corporately. And you know how hard it is to find work when you don't have experience.
Yeah.
Guess what work I started doing? Uber driver.
What?
Yeah.
The same guys who were talking to you
The
there
same
back
guys
then.
who talked to me. And I figured that I've got such a powerful story, if you will, that by driving, I could inspire someone. So I stood up and I started driving Uber.
What your Uber drivers were doing to you.
Absolutely. So I started driving Uber in the year 2021, when the
the lockdowns were
eased. Yes, and I think those are some of the best moments in ministry till this day. I know God will still work in us to do more for Him, but I've never experienced. For me, that was, I remember, or at least you can remember when you first started doing God's work. I'm sure there's a time where you had that zeal, that time that you can remember to say, man, those were the days.
I thought I'm going to finish this work in my day. I'm going to do all things,
So that time for me was driving Uber. I'd pick up women. I remember the one woman, I was going through a divorce, and I was dropping her at the court. Final day to get the order signed, and I could speak to her and speak hope in her life. I picked up someone who was coming from a rehab, and these memories are ever fresh in my mind. This guy says he was addicted to cocaine. I can relate with that, and I spoke with him, and I shared a bit of my story. He looks at me, he's like, "You don't sound like your story. You don't look like your story. What happened? I want what you have." So I started driving Uber. I'm coming to marriage. Started driving Uber.
I think I can actually give you a new title right there. Uber minister. That's it. That's your church. A church called Uber.
So I started driving Uber at the time, and I do that for a while, and then we eventually relocate from Cape Town. I stopped that ministry. So when we relocated from Cape Town, we fully immersed in ministry. My brothers have had their own walks with God, and we get to a point where the family is now reunited. And I'm reminded of the book of Joel, where God says you'll reconcile and bring unity between fathers and sons.
That's the Malachi. That's Malachi chapter 3. Yes.
I beg your pardon.
Yes. You turn the hearts of I'll send them Elijah the prophet, and before the great and terrible day, you turn the hearts of sons to the fathers and the fathers to the sons.
So we experienced that as a family. My brother drops out of the Stellenbosch University because he's also going through his own dilemmas there, where they are teaching them how to empty yourself, meditate, and bring the character in, and he's just like, these are not things that I was taught. We get to a point where he's dropped out, I've left the industry, and we reconcile as a family. And we thought to ourselves, what do we do now? And we figured that staying and remaining in Cape Town is probably not the best place to be. Let's leave this city. Let's find a place where we can have a little farm, where we can, eat from the ground, where we can live a slower life. So we find ourselves in Mpumalanga. And how I got married, as I arrive in Mpumalanga, my mind is set on heaven. I'm not here to look for women. I am heaven bound. So it so happened that we actually arrived because we had driven late, and challenges on the road. When you go by road, we end up overlapping Friday, driving into Saturday. So we get to the place that we were driving to. In fact, there was a congregation gathering at the place that we were gonna stay. It's a farm like area. And as I get there, it's late afternoon. Church is wrapping up the afternoon program. And we arrive, and I just go to the church. I was even dressed in a t-shirt and my jeans, but I get to the church, and we get a very warm welcome from this lady who is now the love of my life. And she welcomes us, and she's like, "Guys, you're coming from Cape Town? Wow, I want to show you guys around." And I think she did that from the kindness of her heart. "I want to show you around. There's a mountain just behind us. Let's go hike." So we actually went hiking, and we closed the Sabbath on the mountain. The group of youth at that church, and the ones that had come from Cape Town. So the next day, she says, "Tomorrow, let's plan to go to Botanical Gardens in Nelspruit. I want to show you guys Mpumalanga." She's a very lovely and hospitable person. And that didn't happen. The Botanical Gardens, because she had to leave. She was working in KZN at the time. So she's like, "Can I have your numbers so that we can at least try to arrange another time?" So I was hesitant to give her my number because remember I'm coming from the entertainment industry. I'm not a person who just gives out numbers. So this sister comes and asks for my number. I was like, hey, take my brother's number. But somehow she gets my number.
Oh,
and we are now discussing, and the outing that we had planned for Sunday is unable to happen. I think we're also tired and it didn't happen. But now I've got the sister's number. And the sister says, hey man, we'll see each other next time. It was lovely meeting you guys. I'm off to KZN. She was teaching at a little ministry school in KZN. And being a gentleman, I hope I still am. I text this sister to say, my sister, have you arrived safely where you were going? She says, no, thank you for checking up. I'm safe. Yeah. And one thing led to the next, and you know how the story goes.
Yes, the heart begins to pound a little bit more.
Yeah, and I told myself,
and
man,
the chemistry. Yeah.
I said, man, I'm not here for women, man. I don't want to get married, but the more I speak to this person, I get a lot of comfort, and I really start falling for them. They fell for me. Then we got to a point where he said, my sister, what is this? What's going on here? In fact, we asked each other that. This friendship is going over an invisible line here. What's our strategy now?
Yeah.
And I'm so blessed to have met a woman who knew what she wanted out of a relationship.
All right.
She says, my brother, if we're going to do this, marriage is the only way. And I thought to myself, I was thinking the exact same thing, but I didn't want to scare you.
Wow.
Let's do it. Wow. So I've never shared this on a public platform before, so you will be the first one to hear.
Thank you. We appreciate it, yeah.
I'm in Mpumalanga. There's a lady I've met. Yeah. And for young people that are dating with no direction, stop doing that thing. Dating or courting is meant for people that are going to get married.
That are serious.
You don't date.
Married, yeah?
There's no internship in dating or trying out. the devil is not playing.
Internship.
Yeah, he's not playing. There's no internship.
He catches you in that internship. He lays the seeds that will trouble you in the future.
And your intentions may even be pure, but it's not safe to be in a relationship without a point.
Yeah.
Relationships are meant for people that are going to get married
and are ready to get into marriage.
Absolutely. So I find myself applying for work now in Mpumalanga because the money is not coming in anymore. Applying for work, I applied for, drive-through jobs. I applied any job you could think of. What love does to a man. Wow. I applied for, and I got no response. And I told my parents, mother and father, I'm going back to Cape Town to work to raise money for a woman I've met. And they said, are you sure, our son? My parents are so liberal in that they've always allowed us to exercise our freedom of conscience. They guide us, but we make the decision. Now, I want to encourage parents to allow, because once you come and make decisions for your children, that's when you start losing them. And I'm not saying allow everything to fly, but allow freedom of conscience. They said, you know what, we can't stop you. You can go. I had worked with my boss, the one that I had used his car for Uber first, that when I texted him that I'm on my way to Cape Town, he said, I'm taking the car from the driver that I currently have and you will have it when you arrive in Cape Town. Wow. I arrived in Cape Town. In fact, my wife is the one who gave me the money because I didn't have money. She gave me the bus money to go. And I'm thinking to myself, what has my life become? Now I'm getting donations
to just get your life going.
From the person I want to marry, they're donating to me. Long story short, get to Cape Town, and I told myself I'm working for 3 months, saving every cent to raise Lobola funds for this woman.
Lady.
And in my 3 months, before 3 months even arrive, God shows off. And he proves his point to say, you don't need to break my laws to make money.
All right.
I pick up an American lady who I spoke with, and she says, no, man, you don't sound like an Uber driver. What's your story? I want to know what's going on. I want to take you out for lunch. So this lady takes me out for lunch on my birthday, the 17th of November.
Oh, nice.
And she says, tell me your story. I told her what had happened to me and what had led me to drive Uber and how I'm back in Cape Town raising funds for Lobola. She says, how much are you paying for this car to rent it? Because it wasn't my car. And I told her how much I was paying. She says, how much is this car? And I gave her an estimate. She says, we'll buy the car.
Wow.
That's what God can do for you when you've surrendered your life to Him. Needless to say, by the Monday, because we had the dinner, but the lunch over the weekend, by the Monday, she had deposited $5,000 into my PayPal account. When I converted that money, it was around 80,000 Rand at the time.
Wow.
I'm sitting down with this money. I've got the option to buy the car that I'm using for Uber.
Or go to Lobola.
So now I also want to honor this lady who's helped me. I mean, when people donate to your ministry or to you,
have to be accountable.
You have to be accountable. So she calls me. She's like, man, I was just thinking, because I prayed about it. I'm like, God, what do I do with this money? I can go in Lobola and we can sit and suffer because 80,000 Rand finishes.
Yeah, you pay a lot of that Lobola, yeah.
And she says, I just had an impression to say, I don't even know what you need. Maybe it's not even the car that you need. You know what? The money that I gave you, use it for what you need. And I got my go ahead. My conscience was free. Wow. I said, bye-bye, Cape Town. I'm going back home. So I prayed about it, and God helped me in making this money last. I bought myself a very good laptop. I started jumping onto the bandwagon of remote work.
Okay.
I started generating more income, and God was just blessing these efforts. I started preparing a place to stay for what would be my wife then. And I mean, there were a few things to fix at home, but God had just blessed us in such an amazing way that when time came for Lobola, the money was there. I'm also grateful for the family that I married into. They didn't cut my neck off with the Lobola like some people do today. And we even had money for a wedding. And I'm not working. I don't have a proper job. We had a wedding, I mean, that would have been the wedding of my dreams at a beautiful venue.
Wow.
It was private. 50 guests came to support us. And as I look back, man, there was no need for me, and there's no need for anyone to break God's law for success. God can bless you even in the most foolish things of life. So that's how I get married. And He's blessed us with a daughter. Now I'm a father to baby Eden, who is now 1 year, 6 months.
Awesome.
And we've since just served the Lord from that point onwards.
Man, I know we've touched a lot of things as we were going, and there's still much more we haven't covered. As you were talking, I was thinking I should put you on a virtual meeting with Tanaka and your other brother and your parents.
Oh yeah, I know there's more to this story.
There's so much we've not even covered. But perhaps at this point, to wrap it up, as you follow God, because I believe sometimes we're not called once. Yeah, I'm in the book of John right now. John 2, Jesus sees Peter, says, you are... Actually, Peter was brought to him by his brother, Philip, I think. And Jesus says, you shall be called Peter, because his name was Cephas, which means a stone. He's the only disciple whom Jesus changed the name. And no wonder he became the leader, because there's something about God and our names. You were not called Anesu. You changed your name to Anes. Anex, yes. And God has given you back. And by the way, for those who don't know, Anesu simply means Emmanuel.
Anesu is my full name.
Yes,
actually, God with us.
God is with us. So He was with you. But I am at the point where Peter gets called once. He leaves the boat. He follows. But later on, Jesus prays for him and says, Peter, you will deny me 3 times. You see, the thing you are talking about, promises. We can't keep our promises. They're like ropes of sand. Peter, you promise to stand by me? No, you will deny me 3 times before the cock crows. It happens. Yeah. Peter gets so discouraged. He's shattered. But you need to come to chapter 20 of John. In fact, it's 21 of John. Peter says, because he was from Bethesda, which is just north of the Sea of Galilee, you know, and there's Capernaum there and many other cities, but they're in Bethesda, in the valley of the river that feeds into the sea. He says to his brothers, I go fishing. So he never destroyed the boat.
Kept the boat.
He had the boat. And this was his hometown.
Serve God with a backup plan.
So the disciple says, we will go with you. And the whole night they fish. This is the second time Peter is caught fishing. Earlier on, even as he was cold, he was fishing. He is fishing again here, all night, nothing. Just to cut the long story short, because I really want you to tell us your future plans now. And Jesus appears on the shores of the Sea of Galilee and says, "Children, have you got any food?" "No, we have nothing."
All night.
Yeah. He says, "Cast your nets on the right side and you catch some." They couldn't pull this thing out. The Bible then says other disciples who were by the shore had to come in with the other boat to drag this net out. And when they discovered it is Jesus, it says Peter then jumped into the water because he was naked, put on his coat, and they came. And the Bible specifically says in the book of John 20, they got to the shore and they found Jesus with the fish and the bread, and there was fire, and they said, "Come for breakfast and bring some of that fish with you here." The point I'm saying this just to echo the comments you were saying and anchor it into this. God has a call on you. Yes, the money may have ceased flowing, but what you were looking for, what you were looking for in the world, Jesus already has it on the fire.
I like that. I love that.
What Peter was busy looking for all night and he couldn't catch, Jesus had it by the fire. He says, "Okay, the one I've now helped you to catch, bring it too." So let me tell you this, Anesu, and say, you may not be called once, but God will continue calling you. You called him once, because after that conversation, remember, that's when Jesus says, "Peter, do you love me?"
Yeah.
You see the point?
Yeah.
We've got to love this God.
Yeah.
We've got to love him for this to make sense. It's got to be really from the heart, just like you loved that lady and you went out of your way to Cape Town to get this money. We've got to love him. "Peter, do you love me?"
Yeah.
Then the instruction was, "Feed the flock." Remember, the other prayer Jesus had made for Peter. The devil wanted you
The devil
to sift you out like wheat. But I have prayed for you. When you are converted, so all these years that Jesus was,
brethren.
strengthen your brethren. So we now know all these years that Peter was with Jesus, he was not converted, but he was called. You see, this is why Revelation 17 verse 14 then makes sense, that when the Lamb fights, those who are with the Lamb are called. Many are called, but few are chosen. It says they are called, they are chosen, and they are faithful. So God is calling us not to the making of money, because he already has it.
Yeah, no, yes.
He says, even if I was hungry, I wouldn't even ask you to give me food, because the cattle on 1,000 hills are mine. Yeah, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things
will be added.
So we don't chase the things, we chase the kingdom. And so I'm saying this because I've walked that journey where you give away the chips on the shoulders to do what God has asked you to do. But as you look at where you are now, God having enabled you to be where you are, I watched you share that story and I knew it cannot be you. It can only be God. And when God calls us, it's not like he's going to say, "Ooh, so what is he going to do now?" What is he going to do now? What am I going? He knows exactly how he's going to lead us. But has God shown you what he needs you to do? For Peter, it was to teach. That's why he stood up and he became the first one on the day of atonement, on that day when they were having the feast. I think it was day of Pentecost. Yeah, it was Pentecost. He's the one who stood up and said, "Men and brethren, we are not drunk. This is what was prophesied." So what has God shown you, perhaps, that you say, "Melissa, if I look ahead of me, this is what I feel I want to do." I know the vision may not be clear, but the pathway is clean. And he's leading you. What are some of the plans you want to do and looking forward for the Lord?
Thank you for the platform, for the discussion. And God has really been working. And as I reflect, I also realize that he got me to such a point where I can confirm that it definitely was not me. It wasn't my doing. It was all him. And in that breath, I am called to be his witness. How I'm going to witness is something that I've ever been discovering. I mentioned to you that I was driving Uber, when lockdown was eased, and I got a bit of experience and I think once you see the hope sparking in someone's eyes, and once someone accepts Jesus after you have shared Jesus with them, you are bitten by something that won't let go until that day. God is just he's been opening platforms for me. I mean, since 2021, to speak, to preach, to teach. And there's a lot of education that needs to go out around digital hygiene, the proper use of social media. There's, rightfully dividing the word of God, because many people may preach but may eisegete and impose their own ideas into the text. And I've really found myself just falling in love with studying the Bible and with sharing that with people. My plans for the future, I believe that God has called me. In fact, when I married my wife, she was a missionary. She was going around doing health work for people that were sick, helping them with lifestyle adjustments. And that's what I fell for in her. And together as a family, we have been serving God how he calls us. Funny story, we get married, and we thought we'd have the time of our lives now and have proper honeymoon. The next week after we had moved into our new place, post-marriage, we get a call to go back to KZN and teach at this little school. And we ended up spending 2 years there, because we had promised God, this thing of promising God. We had promised God, if you provide us with money to get married, we're going to serve you. The call came a week after we had moved into our new place. Now we find ourselves in Ulundi, there, deep in the jungles of KZN. Serving the Lord. And I think the impact we made upon the lives of the children that we served, I mean, we're in touch with many of them till this day, but it was after we got our own child that we then decided to move out of that space and be in an environment that we would focus more on taking care of this little one. I want to define my calling to say I believe that God has called me to share his word, and my 5-year, 10-year plan from now, I plan, God ultimately guides and leads, and I pray that his will be done in my life daily. I realize as much as the Spirit guides and leads us into truth, I realize the need for training theologically at the seminary, and I want to get to a space where I serve God in caring for the youth and in spreading his word through the means that he will choose for me. And at the moment, God has also put me in a space where I am giving back my talents, his talents back to him, serving within the church, working for the media department of the SID, in the marketing department, and everything that I used to do for Satan, I now do for God. And he's really blessed us as a family, blessed me as a person in allowing me to serve him. So those are some of the ideas that I have. But every day when I wake up, I pray that his will be done. My plans submitted in his hands. He needs to, I need to take up, these plans as his will and his providence indicates. So there are lots of ideas that I've given up, and there are lots that I've taken on. But for now, we wait and see what the Lord will do through and for me.
Amen. Amen. Awesome, man. This has been quite a conversation, and I really have been blessed just listening to you and understanding how God has led you. Is there anything we have not talked about that you feel, Melusi, if I don't say this podcast is not complete?
Maybe just closing remarks, man. I finally got to understand the guidance that my father gave me. Little is much when God is Hebrews. In it. Labor not for wealth of fame. There's no need for us to compromise so that we can sort ourselves out when God is the creator. He's got the fish outside and we are busy drowning, catching nothing all night. So those are some of the things that I would want to share. And there's so much. I mean, we could be here all day, but it's not foolishness serving God. Try Him and find out.
So is Hebrews still the favorite text you have? Chapter 11, verse 23, right up to 27. Is that still your favorite?
The whole book of Hebrews is my favorite. Hebrews 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
The evidence.
A lot of atheists and people that may have questions for God just don't want to hear of this concept of faith. But I want to argue and say that even for you not to believe in God, you must have faith to believe in whatever it is that you believe in.
Yeah.
Whether you are an evolutionist, that Big Bang, you are not there when it happened. You have to believe the scientist who's telling you. But the evidence that I have for these things hoped for is what God is doing and what He has done for me in my life. Yes, we can theologize. Yes, we can read the word and argue around it. But what God has done in my life, what I've seen Him done for other people, when I hear other people's testimonies, that's the evidence that I need. So Hebrews 11, the whole chapter, there was a point where I actually memorized the whole chapter. For by it the elders obtained a good report through faith. And the whole chapter goes
I want us to read the Moses part, because that's the one your dad quoted to you. And it really speaks to this decision you have made. By faith, verse 23, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child. And they were not afraid of the king's command. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Verse 25, but chose to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures of Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Amen. So he got a vision of the one who is invisible. And in all things, God was leading him. In the adversity and in the choices he made, God was with him. And there's no greater choice than to choose to believe in God. And to Thomas, he said, oh, you believe because you put your finger here and you did that. Blessed are those who will believe without seeing. That's you right there. And so as we close, if people are to get in touch with you, where do they find you? How do they find you?
Well, I am back on social media.
Oh, that's a hashtag. I'm back.
I'm back on social media. On Facebook, it's just my name, Anesu Chogugudza. I am also available on email for those that may have questions, those that may, want to work on whatever, or just, share a word of encouragement. My email is Anesu, ANESUC57 @gmail.com. It's my personal email. I won't necessarily give out my number, but I'm available online. Search my name. You will find me.
Awesome.
And I'm happy to answer questions, happy to speak more, and happy to encourage wherever encouragement may be needed, because God is really good.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, man. I think we'll also give them the link to the YouTube channel to watch the other version of this testimony. And I look forward to that new content that you put up there, your journey with the Lord. And friends, this is all we had for you. What a story. I told you, he bought the t-shirt, he wore it, it's torn, he can tell you all about it. You're busy trying to run to the world. There's nothing there. Remain in the Lord. And I think this has been such a wonderful testimony. As usual, I invite you to comment in this video. We leave that chat room open because we really want to hear from you. So if you have questions, in addition to contacting him, you can also ask them in the comment section below. Leave a like if you really were inspired by this story. And if you think you have a story to also share on this journey with God, please get in touch with us. We'll be very happy to hear your story, because by your testimony, we shall gain victory over the enemy and God will be glorified. God bless you, and see you on the next episode.